Henry McClure live. You're down here in the epicenter of McClure Real Estate. This is the war room. Now, let me turn that fan off. So this is what I call Bianca's childhood. It's one of my latest works. So I didn't sleep very well last night because thank you, getting some birthday wishes. So this day on July 13th, 1959, but not till 11:58, I popped out of the vagina. Welcome to the real world. There you go. I was the kid that could escape. Hey, by the way, this is the morning call. You see the phone number, 785-272-2297. If you'd like to call in, give me a shout. But I was the kid that could escape from his crib and the house at age, like, before I turned 3. And Henry's gone rogue. So had a nice walk on the Shunga. I don't know if you tune in on my Facebook channel, you can watch my morning walks on the Shunga. Sometimes I put them on Twitter. Hey, I'm up to 23 subscribers on YouTube. You 23 people, I love you. Thank you. I gotta grow my YouTube following. So let's get a rundown real quick in the social media. 12,900 followers on Twitter, which I'm fascinated by the Twitter model. And I'm getting close to around 6,000 people on LinkedIn, getting closer to 3,000 on Facebook. I think on Periscope, 400 or 500 people follow me. And I don't know how many law enforcement agencies. Just kidding. Sporting the summer haircut. What I got? Oh, it's a two. Thank you. If you'd like to call on and be on the morning show, 272-2297. We'll put you live. It's a good friend of mine, Destin Hawks, whose dad was a very influential guy to me because his dad was my drafting teacher at Washburn Rural High School, who prepared me. The skills that he taught me prepared me for my first job really in commercial real estate when I went to work for the Macerich Company in 1983. And so I was the third guy in the management training program with the Macerich Company. And the last thing my broker here in Topeka said, he goes, "Hey, you don't want to go to work for that Jew. He's just going to move you all over the country." And I said, well, like one thing, okay, what does it matter if he's a Jew or not? What is that? Do they own movie companies? What's the deal? Kansas farm boys really didn't think a lot about Jews day to day. You know what I mean? What do we care? Hey, they're white people. What do we know? Hey, you gotta admit that's funny. Well, or sad, but sad and funny at the same time. So, hey, and I said, what do I care? It sounds like an adventure. So I get down to Winter Park, Florida. My office is like in like a much tidier room like this. And like the first day I got to work, there was a button on my desk. It's this little dog wagging his tail. I've kept it all these years. And Charles Waldron had put it there. And It said if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. And like, so like when Charles called you, so I go from being not a very I was doing pretty good at age 19. I sold 1.3 million my first year when Jimmy Carter was president, had run interest rates up to like 18, 21% when he didn't know what he was doing, trying to run these United States. But what I did, I went in and I sold financing. So they had these little like typewriters you could go in, and it was the multiple listing thing. It was like, it wasn't a screen. You give it the things, the parameters. So I'd find the assumable loans, and I wasn't out selling houses. I was selling financing, finding the loans that you could assume at 5 to 6%. So I actually sold they had bond money. They had created this bond money at 11.5%. The very first house I ever sold was the very first house I painted as a kid in high school. And I got the last of the bond money in Topeka at 11.5%. And I'll never forget that deal. That was a fun deal. So I rambled. So I get down to Winter Park, Florida, and I'm hating my job. I'm thinking I've made a big mistake. I'm sitting in this file room. You got a lot of freedom as a real estate guy. So they have this, it looks like a weekly reader. It was called The Happenings. And there's this Macerich happening sitting on my desk on the third day. On the third day, he rose again in accordance to the scriptures. But anyway, on the third day, so they got this article about Boulder, Colorado, and this big expansion, and Henry McClure and his ego. Hey, I should be on that project. They need a guy like me on that project. So anyway, I had to go back to reading leases, and I'm, trying to, I'm getting familiar, learning the management end of the shopping mall business in 1983, Winter Park, Florida. February, by the way, getting out of Kansas. Yeah, I don't know if I was running from a woman. I'm dating this girl that I know. She's so sweet. I should be marrying her. But I was too immature. I waited till I was 35 to get married. Hell, I'm just now getting qualified, actually, to be a woman's partner day to day. So about 10 o'clock, my phone rings. Hey, Henry, come on into the office. And I'm wearing like, I think I'm wearing like a short sleeve shirt with a tie. I've got my blazer kind of behind me. I definitely look like a Walmart manager, or at least a guy that runs a paint department. And so I go running in there, got my notepad, my legal pad, and Charles looks at me and he kind of smirks. Like inside, I could see this guy's laughing at me. What the hell? What's so funny? Is it the way I'm dressed? And I look at him and he's dressed the same way. And I go, well, it can't be my appearance. Waldron was this big funny guy. So he goes, we have this mole in we have a mole. We have a mole. No, we have a mall in Boulder. And I go, all right, when do I go? And he go, who told you? I go, nothing. I was reading the happenings this morning. I thought that looked like a fun project. Had my name written all over it. I'm in a meeting right now, but I'd love to. Dustin Hawks, you call in anytime you want. So, I go back to my desk and I'm thinking what Ben Blair told me about the Jew moving me all over the country. And so I'd gone down 2 weeks, like before I started my job, to go around, or a week maybe before, whatever, to find a place to live. And so I could just start up. And they said, whatever you do in your lease, negotiate a relocation clause that if your company relocates you, you can get out of the lease. What I wasn't smart enough to do all those years was to buy houses, because then what Macerich would have done every time, being the real estate company, was they'd have made sure you got out of your house deal okay. And I could have built equity on Macerich in a lot of different ways, other than this pea brain. They did stuff a lot of equity into this head. So anyway, I had to give notice to leave. I'm laughing. And so, like, he says, okay, now you're going to be the tenant construction coordinator on a big project we got going on. And so, like, it was then just a crash course in, like, the mall submittal. And it turns out, what I found out in my career is, so go the architectural plans, so goes the deal. That the more organized your plans are from the beginning, that's basically how the real estate deal is going to turn out. And it's kind of like your life too. It's like, okay, these are the steps I'm going to take. It's like if you start college, you got to finish it. I literally may have to go back to college to get a degree because I want to be an appraiser. So you got to have the sheepskin. And I may go back to college just to make my daughter go back and do it. Something we can do together, like the back to school thing, Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, I'll do the triple ending. Hey, I get no respect. Hey, what penmanship. That's a good movie. Have you seen that? Dangerfield, he falls in love with his English teacher. Whoa. It's so funny. He sells the big and tall store. Oh yeah, Marlon Brando, pound for pound, probably one of our best actors. Customer of mine, ballooned out big. And it's so funny. Hey, I know I'm only a freshman, but would you like to have dinner? I got class. All right, well, call me when you got no class. That is so Henry McClure. I actually met Dangerfield in Vegas when I was at the shopping center convention. And so I'm at Bally's buying tickets. And I turn around and there he is. He's wearing like this pool suit, everything matched, like the terry cloth on the inside, like some sort of like, what do they call it? Plaid, not plaid, maybe plaid. I don't know. But, he's got the matching suit, the terry cloth, little slippers, everything matched. I mean, he's styling. I go, hey, Rodney, Henry McClure. I go, I just bought tickets to your show. Oh, all right. Hey, Henry. He goes, I said, hey, I heard your means to hecklers. Oh, yeah. Hey, he goes, Henry, you're going to do all right. You got a bit of the moxie. So I got that going for me. Rodney Dangerfield told me, Henry McClure, that I got moxie. That is better than the Dalai Lama telling whatever, what was his name in Caddyshack? What was Bill Murray's name? Carl. Yeah, so I was a looper over in, I'm a looper, and I'm caddying I'm a jock, for the Dalai Lama, and big hit of the Lama. So, flowing robes. And so after the round, he's going to stiff me. I say, hey, Lama, hey, something for the upper. So he said, on your deathbed, you will achieve total consciousness. Thank you. So I got that going for me, which is nice. I love movies. I love movie analogies. I love that movie, Caddyshack. You want to know something wild about this thing? I've had this. This was a birthday present, I think, from the people at the Lakewood Mall. When I moved out to LA in 1988, and like either 89 or 90 sometime, I think somebody at Lakewood gave me that thing. I've never changed the batteries in that thing. That you go for his possessed. Okay, so nobody's calling in. It's all right. The morning call. The morning call actually originated due to my late night antics, or my alcohol abuse over the years. Alcohol was a good go-to drug. It was consistent. You knew what you were going to get. You physically get addicted to alcohol. It's amazing. So it was kind of interesting. I got to pull this up. I got to tell you about this. I like to, I'm getting some nice notes from Facebook. I am lucky. I have so many nice people care about me. And I appreciate that. There's nothing stronger than the love energy in the world. So I get a morning horoscope thing, and what I find interesting about the science of astrology, the science side of it, it's the study of patterns. And it's people that have studied, all right, you're in charge of cancers. You watch cancers, study their behavior. Let's study their follies, and let's start tracking this stuff. And people that are born on July 13th, okay, that's your day. You follow these people. I mean, think about it. Yeah, hell, if it all came from China, look how many Chinese people they could get to regiment. Okay, fall in line. Astrology over here. We need Geminis over here, Virgos over here, and they're tracking, they're studying patterns. That's the science side of astrology. I mean, come on, the moon, think about how the moon phases, affect the tides. We're meat sacks filled with water, walking around made of stardust. Mason Cooley wrote, fantasy mirrors desire. Imagination reshapes it. You know, what that says to Henry McClure is that if first you don't succeed, try again. Show up. Let your imagination try to fulfill your dreams. And just work at it. And the harder you work, the luckier you get. That's another Mace. One of the smartest thing Mace Siegel ever told me, because I admired this guy, was in the commercial real estate business, you don't have to be a know-it-all. Just tell the truth. And I'm thinking, basically, besides commercial real estate, that probably ain't a bad way just to live. He goes, look, you can build relationships with people. You follow up. Hey, I don't know that. And what a better way to be in life. Hey, I don't know that, but let's work it out together. Because I love you and I want to be with you. Hey, we have quirks. We have shortcomings. But the connection you get from the love energy is the strongest thing. And when your soul like bonds with another soul at the level of the soul. So Mason Cooney was an American. I can't even say this word. I can't even pronounce it. I'm going to have to look it up. I don't even know how to say it. Here, say it for me, Google. How come it's not saying? How do you say this here? We're going to have to sound this out. Huh. A person who makes or uses APHORIS morphemes. Aphorist. An aphorist. Okay, an aphorist. Known for witty aphorisms. One of these such aphorisms Cooney developed was, the time I kill is killing me. And no truer words can be spoken or like used in the analogy of Henry McClure in my life. You know, I've been a strong individual, disciplined, state champion gymnast a couple of years. You know, when I put my mind to something, it happens. And for 40 years, you know, I partied. I lived my life like every day was Friday. And man, did I have fun. And I don't have any regrets. I'm the worst type of alcoholic because I still think you ought to be able to abuse it if you want to. If that's what you want to go do, you want to abuse alcohol, okay. I mean, my sister drank herself to death. And I get it. I know why she did. And she transcended. Let me show you a picture. Let me see if I got one handy. Like, check this out. Getting some nice birthday wishes. So my niece, Faye, wow, she's smoking hot. Hey, thanks for thinking of me on my birthday here, honey. So when I look at my sister's paintings and I think about what she went through in her life and everything, my sister lives in those paintings to me. I've grown very fond of art lately and have had some fun with art. You know, that's what I always looked at being a gymnast, was the body art, the ability to be able to take your body and put it in places, you know, or make it do things that others can't do. I had the ability to do a standing front flip, which is very hard because you're rotating into yourself. So you got to jump up high enough and rotate in, and they aren't pretty, but there's not many people. Hey, how you doing? Hey, thank you. Is it time to go? Yeah. All right. There's my daughter, Bianca Mantley on McClure. What a gift. Thank you, Renee McClure. thank you more for the making of it, but having the baby, boy, that was good work. Okay, I got to sign off. If you need me, call me. You know I love you. So we're going around the sun another time. It'll be a fun ride. Let's do it together.